run away as fast as you can.
Amen.
And get on to the next thing, like Nacho Libre. My husband right now is directing Minecraft in New Zealand. I mean, it's going to be a big, dumb movie like all of our movies. He's told people. Brady hasn't driven a bus in a while, guys. Back in the day, my husband and I were 21-year-old kids, and we made a bunch of little short movies while we were in college, and one of them was called Peluca, and it starred our friend John Heater, who was just an animation student at BYU at the time, but we loved John's look. He was so goofy. He had this longish 70s hair. He was always wearing bell bottoms to school. He and his brother were like big clubbers, and they would dance in sync at clubs in Salt Lake. The whole thing was so interesting to us. We were like, what, you, John, you do this? And so we asked him, would you be in this little short film called Peluca, and you play this guy named Napoleon? And at the end of shooting that little short, we had some extra film stock, and so my husband turned on the radio, and that song by Jamiroquai was playing, and he said, John, go into this field and dance. He was wearing the moon boots, he had the perm, he had the whole thing. It was the same show, but it was a black and white short film. And so John stood in that film and showed us his wacky 70s dance moves, and we thought, this is it. This is a whole movie. We could watch this forever. So that was the impetus of Napoleon Dynamite, that short film. In our little one-bedroom hovel in Provo, Utah, and we didn't know how to write, so it was like one scene at a time, and everything in Napoleon is a true story, and so we were just pulling dumb stories from our childhood. Deb was completely me as a kid, so we were pulling these stories from our childhoods and just trying to connect them in the weirdest way. So we got to 90 pages, or maybe it was only 85 pages. It's very short. We were like, great, let's go make this movie. We got funding from a friend of ours at school at the time. He was like, yeah, I can get some money from my brother, if that's okay. Let's go make this movie. Let's go to your hometown and make this movie. It'll be cheaper. Okay, this is actually my friend's house currently. And at the time, we shot inside for that scene where Uncle Rico is selling the bust must to Starla. If I had my druthers, I would cut this scene from the movie. It is very uncomfortable to me. It was uncomfortable then, it's uncomfortable now. Guys, is this scene gross or what? Yes, I'm so nervous about it, but that's the key about Uncle Rico. He takes you to that level of like, ugh. And also, we all have an Uncle Rico.
Yes.
Do we not? So this was the inside kitchen. Mondo shows up at one point and like gives a, that's it. There's the pans, guys. It's problematic for so many reasons. Just kidding. Jared still thinks it's funny, but I'm just like, You know, for a movie we made 20 years ago, it does still, it's aged okay. Oh my goodness. Who has action figures? Who has action figures on this bus right now? I'm going to tell you when we're going to throw those out, because we're going to be on Napoleon Way, and that's where I'm going to keep you on to anything. Who is from out of Idaho in the bus right now? Oh my gosh, who is from Utah? Okay, who's from outside of Utah? Tell me where you're from outside of Utah. Wyoming.
Ohio.
Virginia. Nevada.
Las Vegas.
Virginia?
Why?
Tell me you're here for a funeral. Tell me you're here for anything. Good job, guys. Well done. I love this bus. I'm so glad I could be here. Guys, my husband and I bought a house here in Preston because he loves it so much. It really is so dear to him. And the town is so sweet to put up with us and still support this movie. And we have to be very careful, because what if we make a Napoleon 2? We gotta keep on their good side, because we want to make it
Yes.
again. Because it won't look the same if we have Hollywood's money. In fact, you know the end wedding scene.
Yes.
That wedding scene costs more money than the entire movie like babies when we got that phone call, because here we were 22, 23-year-old kids. We had a baby. We were idiots, okay? All of you 20-year-olds don't have babies, but it did make us really motivated to get working. Okay, that's the only good thing I can say about that. So we sold that movie at Sundance. The first premiere of the movie, people were, I think they were nervous, but the second Napoleon threw his little action figures out, people started laughing and clapping. Jared and I were sitting at the back of that theater, like shaking and like crying and dry heaving. We had all the bodily functions happening at once. And we sold it to Fox Searchlight for $4 million. $400,000 to make. Guys, we didn't see that money, so don't think that goes to us. But we were able to get an agent. We were able to, pay rent, get a car. Those things. It was amazing. It was magical. It was a magical thing to happen. It doesn't happen every day to filmmakers, and we are so grateful for Sundance and any film festival. It's really a good place to take your up-and-coming films. All of you filmmakers in the room. Okay, so we sold that movie, and then Fox said, hey, would you do a little added extra scene? And that was where the wedding scene came. They decided, like, it'd be fun to get people to go to the theaters again, even after it was released. So we shot that wedding scene after the fact. Okay, let's ask some questions, because we have a bit of a journey here to Napoleon's house. Yes, Deb.
Deb.
Deb, stand up, everyone, so everyone can see you. Deb is in the house. Okay, say your question really loud.
How did you get the names Napoleon and Kip? Because they are very different.
Napoleon Dynamite was a man my husband met in Chicago at one point, and the guy was like, my name is Napoleon Dynamite, and my husband immediately wrote it down in a journal and said, that's going to be the name of my first movie. Kip was just felt, I'm sorry if any of your names are Kip, but we thought it was appropriately nerdy. And I think his name might be Kipling. Dynamite, if I recall. But it just, it's so weird. Napoleon Dynamite also is the pseudonym for Burt Bacharach, I think, or someone like that. I can't remember. Elvis Costello, thank you so much. So I'm sure that guy in Chicago got it from Elvis Costello. We got it from him. And look at that, it's so weird. Ideas come from the weirdest places. And everyone's just pulling ideas from other people. Okay, next question. So Pedro is completely based off someone. My husband grew up and went to high school for the last 2 years in Preston, Idaho, and it was the funnest place for him. He loved it so much. That's where he's like, let's buy a house here. I love this place. Okay, Napoleon, wait! When we get to the dirt road, throw your guys out, okay? We're almost there. This is it. Okay, let her rip. Guys, we could be making a movie right now. This is all you need. One day, he showed up to school with his head shaved, and Jared was like, "What's happening?" He had a hoodie on and everything. He was like, "Oh, I got really sweaty last night, so I shaved my head, but now I'm embarrassed." It's real. It's all real. Everything is real in this movie. But if you watch the movie today, you realize this movie really is about
Oh my
God.
gosh.
His glasses off like this,
Sorry.
and he had a big bruise on his face and nose for like a week. He was bruised. I think he even got cut. But he was such a pro. He was like, yeah, let's do another one. So that steak was half frozen. Here's another fact about that steak. Uncle Rico, John Grice, he was a vegetarian. He was forced to chew those pieces of steak and he was like vomiting.
Oh.
Here it is. What else about this house? Any other questions?
There's someone back there.
There's a human.
Wave.
Hi. Tina, you fat lard, was my mother-in-law's llama. It's all real, guys. It's all real. You're gonna be so disappointed. When we made, has anyone seen the Napoleon Dynamite animated TV show? Okay, it's a very deep cut, guys. Very, very deep cut. We shot that 12 years ago for Fox, on Fox, the Fox network. So it was like after The Simpsons it came on. We had 6 episodes only, and then it got canned. But it is so funny and dumb. You should watch it. I don't know, maybe it's on Disney Plus. I don't know where Fox shows are can be seen. But I was gonna say something about llamas, and now I've lost my train of thought. It's in the movie. Here's a funny thing. When you grow up in the Intermountain West, along this beautiful mountain range, as filmmakers, we were always, this was an idiot thing, we were always like, ooh, let's try to shoot Provo, Utah to look like it's something else, and let's not show the mountain. So I don't know if it was a conscious decision, but sometimes you're like, we want to just make this feel like it's anywhere. I don't know. Are there mountains in the movie? I don't know. I don't know if it was a conscious decision or not, but there are mountains here. It's a beautiful valley. Yes. What happened to who? The parents? Oh my gosh, what happened to Napoleon's parents? That is a very good question. We were going to answer that question in the animated TV show. We had a whole episode about Napoleon's father coming into town, and maybe it was going to be a little bit like the little Orphan Annie storyline that they were fakes. I think we have an answer for that, and I think it changes from one day to the next. But they don't have parents. There have been theories that Grandma Dynamite really is their mom, but she was embarrassed because it was a geriatric pregnancy. I don't know, guys. We don't really know. We just thought it's funny that they're orphaned. Any other questions? Oh, guys, look at this valley. Look at how gorgeous this is. We are going for a bit of a drive to go see Summer's house. Now, at the time, this was the fanciest house we could find in Preston. And so I can't wait till you see it, because it is quite stately. Okay, and I'm sure we knew the people who owned it. But any other questions? So she said the road that he was, he ran. At one point he was angry and he was running home with maybe a tinfoil fish in his hand. I'm not sure. It's the sweaty sea. Okay, it's the real sweaty sea. Yes, we're not going to go that way because the road's closed. Grandfather-in-law, Eldine. Okay, Eldine is still alive. He's 92. We asked Eldine, I don't know why, since we had Hollywood money, why we didn't hire an animal wrangler, but instead we asked Eldine, do you have any horses we could borrow for the scene? He was like, well, yes, I do. Old Juice is out in the pasture, and he's just ready to ride. And we're like, Juice? I don't know if we want Juice. Oh, he's gentle. You really would love him. So we borrowed Juice. You know, if Eldine were here, he would tell me that wasn't the name, but in my mind, it was Juice. So we borrowed Juice. It was early spring. This horse hadn't been ridden in 6 months. If anyone's a horse person here, that's
really injured riding the dune buggy.
Oh, the
What she
grandma
said.
and her coccyx. No grandmas were injured making the movie.
In real life. In real life. In real life.
In real life.
In real life, no grandmas were injured. In the movie, she broke her coccyx. You know, that was one scene that I didn't go to. So I was the costume designer, I was the writer. I don't know if Jared and I got producing credit, but you know, this was our movie, this was our baby, so we were very involved. That scene was kind of a B shoot, a B camera shoot, so the whole movie set didn't go out. So I wasn't there for that one. And another scene that I bailed on because I was the costume designer was the chicken farm scene, because I stepped foot in that building and I started dry heaving because I was 7 months pregnant and it was 90 degrees and I thought I was gonna die, and I was like, I can't be here today. I had an assistant costume designer who stepped in.
What does Napoleon not know about his grandma?
Someone has to replay it. What is Napoleon what?
What does Napoleon not know about his grandma?
What does he not know about her?
Yeah, because Rico says there's some things about grandma you don't know.
Yeah.
You know what? I think Uncle Rico's just being a real jerk there. But I think it is the idea that Grandma Dynamite has a full life outside of these kind of inane boys she's raising. So she goes out to the dunes all the time. Whether she has young lovers, you can just guess. But Grandma Dynamite has a life, okay? That could be a t-shirt.
Grandma Dynamite has a life.
Question here.
Yes, I think we did hire a stunt person, but I don't think this stunt person was, I think it was a man. I don't think it was a real stunt person. I think it was someone on our crew who said they would do it. It might have been a woman, I don't remember, but nothing was official.
Where did you get like all of the iconic outfits and everything for the movie?
I am reading your lips as
Where-
hard as I can.
Outfits.
Where'd you get
all
the outfits?
for the movie?
Okay guys, so I was the costume designer. Where did I get those outfits? Ooh, every Deseret industry. From Preston, Idaho, all the way down to Orange County. There's Deseret Industries in Orange County. I'm sure I went to other thrift stores, but we really, at the time, went to a lot of DIs, is what they're called. It is a local thrift store chain here in the Intermountain West. Those costumes were really fun to design. They were written in wanted Napoleon Dynamite to be about a kid who was hoaxing crop circles. He wanted this movie to have Bigfoot, and he wanted like
Yes.
a fleet of white Blazers, the Chevy Blazer car, like in the OJ chase. This was Jared's dream movie, and I said, honey, we have no money. Let's make a movie about all the funny stories that you have. And so that is what I did. I said, let's make a movie, a slice of life movie about this dorky kid. And I brought from my childhood the Deb character. That was really my personal storyline was Deb. When I was in 7th grade, I had a dress with giant sleeves and not much of a body anywhere else. And some young boy who was dancing with me did this to the sleeves and said, I like your sleeves. They're really big. This is like gorgeous. It still is gorgeous. Look at that grass. So we're gonna head to the house where all the interiors of Napoleon Dynamite's house were shot. You won't be able to see the interiors, but who can remember how swanky that kitchen and living room and sunken family room? I mean, it was pristine. The house had it was one of those cool 70s designs that the walls didn't go up to the ceiling. They were like half walls to partition. It was so cool. There was also, we didn't use it, but there was an atrium when you walked in that I'm pretty sure they had lizards living in. I think at one point Jared and I really wanted to buy the house. It was cool. Oh, should we just knock? Should we just knock?
Yeah. Can we come in?
We didn't do anything inside, guys. It was just pristine 70s glam. Guys, I just think we should knock.
I think so too.
Okay. I'm just gonna see who owns it.
So which person in real life had the time machine?
The time machine was based on our friend Kip. So Kip was a dear friend from college. All of the actors other than Uncle Rico and Deb and Grandma and Pedro, I know there's quite a few, but everyone else in this movie was friends, family, relatives. So Kip Dynamite himself is my husband's best friend from college, and he has a brother with some cognitive disabilities, and he once bought a time machine on the early web to, go back in time. All true, guys. But many of our actors have brothers or relatives or felt really akin to the characters, and that's how they embodied them so well, right?
So was asking somebody out with a cake, was that like a real story too?
But is it something about a cake?
Asking
so
somebody
when
out
Pedro
with
asked Summer out with a cake.
So if anyone here is from Utah or Idaho, you know, all of you teens in the room, you know the weird culture of asking people to dances with bizarro things. So I don't know, I can't remember if Jared did that before, but that's part of the culture here of doing these big dramatic asks. So the cake was just in our brains. Summer and Dawn. Ooh. And who was the other? Who was the Trisha. Trisha's kind of like on the fence. Is she nice or is she a jerk, right? Summer is not really based on anyone, though, that's right. We all knew that person. I'm gonna pop my collars up and just, it's pretty dumb. It was a pretty dumb stereotype, but oh my gosh. I think we asked Jack Black to be Uncle Rico, by the way. We sent his agent the script. We sent the script to so many people, and here's this dumb script that reads so bizarre. The movie's bizarre. Think how even weirder the actual script is. And so we sent it to so many actors, and Jack now is like, I'm such an idiot. My people didn't even get it to me. But we had a good casting director who saw the potential and then got it to the right people. Deb, played by, guys, tell me her name. Tina Majorino. She had been in all these childhood shows. She was in Waterworld. But as an adult, she hadn't been doing much. So it was great. She found that, it was her time to
can I learn to shade an upper lip?
Who drew those great drawings, and how can I shade an upper lip? Well, that is just talent. And so, if you don't have it, then you don't have it. I can't teach you that. But John Heater himself drew the drawings. And to make matters better, he was an animation student in college, and he's a very fine artist. So it was tricky. It's tricky stuff.
So did Kim really meet LaFonda online? And how far away was she from?
So, repeat it again.
Did Kip really meet LaFonda online? And what else the other question?
How
Where
far?
was she from? And where was she from?
Okay, so that story was made up. Oh my goodness. It's not all based on truth. We made that whole storyline up. But it is such a wish fulfillment, isn't it? That this dorky white boy from rural Idaho can meet this gorgeous black woman from, I can't remember where she was from. That is complete wish fulfillment, and also how satisfying that he gets that win. Because the whole time, aren't you worried he's being catfished?
Yes.
I sure was.
Yes.
That guy is not talking to babes online. She gets off that bus and she really is into him. It is just, everyone in this story gets a win, right? Kip gets LaFonda. Napoleon gets friends. Deb sticks by him, and Pedro. Pedro wins the election. Yes, please. Who's got our election shirt in the house today?
Vote for Pedro.
So everyone gets their win. Even Grandma got Tina back, and then finally Uncle Rico, our one kind of, does he deserve it? He had that lady, we assume it's his ex-girlfriend, comes back to his campsite in the end. Yes, that beautiful Asian woman who walks down the way, that is Kip. That's Kip's wife, Aaron Frohl's wife in real life. She's one of my dearest friends. She was my costume assistant on the movie, and we just needed like a beautiful person in that scene. And we're like, Julia, quick! The whole time making the movie, her name is Julia / Yuka, so I'm just gonna say Yuka. Yuka and I kept putting on Deb's wardrobe because it was way more comfortable than ours, and so in all of the background photos, she and I are wearing these pink like sack dresses.
Is Rico living in a van? Is that based off of somebody?
Rico living in a van is also just a dream, right? Who doesn't want to live in the van? So Uncle Rico was based off, there was a gentleman, maybe Chris Beckson knows more, because this was something from my husband's childhood. There was a gentleman in Preston who would put a big tripod and a big camcorder, and he filmed himself throwing a football, like all day. I don't know his name, but he was based on that one image, right? And then the fact that everyone has a creepy uncle. And then Rex Kwando was based off of this gentleman in the town named Patrick Zook, and he owned a dojo in town. And for a while, he also had stealth investigation. So Patrick Zook really and he was in the movie at some point, and he had the hammer pants. He was Uncle Rico, but I think he was 5'4". God rest his soul, he passed away as well. Patrick Zook. Napoleon's dance. What do you think? Do you think it was choreographed, or do you think it was off the cuff?
Off the cuff.
Okay, so Napoleon, he's a dancer. We knew this for a fact. But we had, 10 minutes of film. It's like a 1,000 foot of film reel. So we had 10 minutes. We're like, we have this much film to shoot you, Napoleon. And the night before, he and Deb worked on some moves. And so Tina Majorino was the one who helped him, because she had dance practice. She was like, hey, what about these? So they worked on several different things. And it's not one continuous dance. We filmed him for 10 minutes dancing, and then we cut the best of the best.
Oh, nice.
Cinema magic right there. But I know so many kids, I'm sure someone on this bus can do the dance better than anyone. The guys in the lowrider, we found them, I think, at a car show in Logan. And again, wish fulfillment. This is a small town, an insular town in our movie, in Preston, in the movie. It was a small little town, and to have this other culture represented felt so satisfying. For the tetherball tournament. I think Virginia is going to be here tomorrow because they flew out for this. Okay, any other questions? Just blabbering. What about you? Have any of you guys made movies that we can ask questions about? Oh my goodness. How many times have you watched it? Every New Year's. And how old are you? 16? 14. Were you nervous when you were watching it at the Sundance premiere?
We had no idea what it was going to be about.
I know, because Sundance films, they could be edgy, they could be dark, they could be twisty, and pretty soon you see this kid with the toy throwing out, you're like, where is this going? Oh my gosh, guys, the Jensens.
Go Ash.
We're gonna, can you go backwards? I don't know, can buses go backwards, guys? All the interiors, we're not gonna go because it looks completely, look at how cool that roof line is. Deb's studio was in the
Take a
basement.
photo for you.
On 553, you can go back and knock on your own.
I'd like to see the interior.
Oh, this is Preston. This is how we made the movie. Just sweating all summer. The movie took only 23 days to film. Jared's Minecraft movie, I think, took like 140 days to film. Thelma the Unicorn, it's an animated musical on Netflix right now. It's so darling. That one took 4 years to make. So, I went to the Academy Awards with a short film this year, guys. We have an anthology that is dorky. But what I'm saying about Napoleon, it was a very, very tiny shoot. 23 days. It might have been 25. I don't remember. But remember, I didn't show up to 2 of the days. 23 days is a short time.
So 23 days of filming, how many days of editing?
Yeah, I don't remember how long we took to edit, but it was, we finished sometime in August. I think we started in July. Maybe it was the whole month of July. And then we start editing immediately. And by November, our editor, who is also the producer, he sent a, not by November, but sometime in maybe September, he sent a copy of the tetherball scene right here to your left. You go and have a competition tomorrow, a tournament, as they call it. Anyway, I don't know what I was saying while I was burping, but something about
Editing.
Editing, how long it took?
Editing.
Yeah. You stopped filming in August and edited all the way till November.
Sent a rough draft of the movie to Sundance without our permission.
So it hadn't.
Sent it to Sundance unfinished.
Oh my
in
gosh.
Like September or August. It was so rough. We had no music. It was as rough as it could ever be. But he was like, I believe in it. I believe in it. I'm just gonna send it. I'm just gonna send it. I want to get it in this year. I want to put it, submit it. And Jared was furious. And then in November for Thanksgiving, we were on our way back to Preston to visit family for Thanksgiving. We got a call from the Sundance programmer saying, we love your movie. It is in.
Nice. Even without the finished result.
Didn't even have music. It was garbage.
That's-
But they believed in it. Apparently it was on a VHS tape.
Oh my
And it was
gosh.
playing in the programmer's lounge the entire month of programming. People would be like, have you heard about this movie? And they would just keep putting it on.
Oh my gosh. That's awesome.
So I don't remember if the White Stripes wrote that song for us or if it was already written. I don't even remember. But the cool thing is that people just loved the movie. And so after we sold it, we were able to get real licensing for music. And that animated beginning, or not animated, but the food, that was an additional thing that Fox Searchlight paid for. And so they had the money If you had any kind of money, you would go to the mall, put on a feather boa, and get some diffused lighting, and tease your hair out to none other, and you would get these photos taken. I never had them done. I grew up quite poor in Oklahoma, and I never got the glamour shots. And so, wish fulfillment. Pedro's exterior house where the jump was done. Remember that jump? Guys, no one was harmed in Napoleon Dynamite except for Napoleon. He really banged himself good in that shot. He did all of his own stunts. Remember there was a scene where he and Uncle Rico were fighting with large fruit? I'm pretty sure he fell off a fence there. So to get this location, we didn't know the people who had this house, but we loved the look of it. And we said, can we film in your house? We will put fresh grass in if you let us. And so we re-sawed the front yard.
Wow.
The red ones?
Oh, they're selling things. So, guys, the one way to support this town and make sure they love us forever, and we can keep doing these festivals, and we can make that Napoleon 2. You guys recognize it? Thank you. I know high school. You're gonna take pictures in the high school. Auditorium, cafeteria, lockers, all here at the Preston High School. My kids went here for 6 months during COVID, and it was funny and delightful.
So we're going
No
in.
one ever bothered them that they had.
Welcome to Preston High School.
Oh, thank you.
Guys, oh my goodness. The assistant superintendent with us. Come take pictures. Look, there's a whole aisle of them. So everyone can take pictures at once.
You guys, they are taking out all these lockers and remodeling. You are the last group.
Oh, man. Stand by the locker and let me take your picture.
That someone made to look like these lockers. And that's a cool shot.
Napoleon was filmed. We've added on a new gymnasium and a new cafeteria, but this is the old.
We want to see Napoleon's locker.
That's Napoleon's locker.
They keep it lit up in his honor. I want a picture by his locker, Codee. Just stand by. Which one is his? Does it have his name on it? What number was his?
Well,
Okay.
Mike, I'm good.
What number was his locker?
You've talked to me. You've talked to me.
I don't remember.
Brady, really, thank you for giving us this bus. It really felt very official to have the guys thrown out the back. And Chris Beckstead, if you have any realty needs, come to Chris Beckstead. But thank you for organizing this. Or the rodeo. I'm just pushing the rodeo. It's the best time in Preston. It's like a 4-day event or something insane. There was a bull that jumped out of the arena and into the stands, and a farmer pulled out his gun. Guys, animals were harmed. It is the most exciting place. In the summer, we go to all the demolition derbies. It's all fun. This is a fun town. Guys, thank you so much.
Thank you.